Hello, sweet little friends. Welcome to our channel. Here, we share fun and magical stories just for you. If you like our stories, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Today, we have a super exciting story for you. Are you ready? Let's go.
In the heart of a vast green forest lived a little squirrel named Sophie. She was always full of energy, leaping from branch to branch from morning till night. Sophie loved adventures, and no day passed without her discovering something new. But in the same forest, there was a dark area where even sunlight barely touched the ground. The animals feared that place and never went near it. Sophie, however, was curious to know what was hidden in that darkness. One night, as she sat on a branch, she noticed a faint light deep inside the dark forest. Her heart filled with excitement, and she decided to uncover the secret of that glow. The next morning, Sophie went to see Tima, an old and wise owl whom all the forest animals trusted for guidance. Sophie eagerly said, "Tima, last night I saw a light in the dark forest. What do you think it is?" Tima paused and replied gently, "I know of that light. It is said a magical lantern is hidden deep within the dark forest, a lantern that can brighten the entire forest. But reaching it is not easy." Sophie's eyes sparkled. "I want to find it," she exclaimed. Tima looked deeply into her eyes and smiled. "If you wish to go, I will go with you." Sophie and Tima packed a small bag with some nuts, a little water, and dry leaves for making fire. With hope in their hearts, they began their journey. When they reached the edge of the dark forest, the air suddenly grew colder. Strange rustling sounds echoed among the trees. Sophie felt a little scared, but Tima calmly said, "Do not fear. Every sound has a meaning. You must learn to listen." They stepped into the darkness. The tall, twisted trees blocked the sky, and the deeper they went, the darker it became. But Sophie's courage and Tima's calmness kept them moving forward. After hours of walking, they reached a river. A wooden bridge stretched across it, but the planks were broken and rotting. Sophie worried, what if the bridge collapses? Tima spread his wings and said, "I can fly across, but you must find another way." Sometimes problems are there to awaken your creativity. Sophie thought for a moment, then noticed fallen branches and large stones nearby. With great effort, she built a small bridge. Tima watched proudly. "Well done. You have learned not to give up." Not long after crossing the river, a red fox with bright eyes appeared. With a sly smile, he said, Well, two brave travelers. Are you looking for the magical lantern?" Sophie asked curiously, "Do you know about it?" The fox grinned. "Yes, I know a shortcut. If you want, I'll guide you." Tima whispered softly to Sophie, "Be careful. Not all paths are safe." Sophie hesitated but remembered Tima's words, "The right path is not always the easiest one." With politeness she replied, "Thank you, fox, but we'll follow our own path." When the sun set, the forest grew darker and more frightening. Sophie shivered. "Tima, what if we get lost in the darkness?" Tima spread his wings and said, "Look at the stars. They always show the way." They lit a small fire and sat beside it. Tima told stories from ancient times to comfort Sophie. Slowly she fell asleep and dreamed of a golden lantern shining in the forest, with a voice whispering, "Seek the real light within your heart." She awoke in the morning with new energy and told Tima, "I'm sure we will find it." On their path, they found a small animal stuck in the bushes. It was a hedgehog whose spines had tangled in the branches. Sophie gently freed him. The hedgehog shyly said, "Thank you. My name is Pico. Where are you going?" Sophie answered, "We're searching for the magical lantern." Excited, Pico replied, "I know the hidden paths of the forest. May I join you?" Tima smiled. Help sometimes comes from where you least expect it. And so, the three friends continued their journey together. Pico led them to a cave. "This is the shortest way," he explained. But inside, it was pitch dark. The sound of dripping water echoed, and a cold breeze blew through. Sophie trembled, but Tima reminded her, "Remember, the lantern is in your heart. Light your courage." Sophie took a deep breath, struck a spark, and lit a small fire. The flames revealed drawings of ancient animals on the walls. Tima whispered, "These are our ancestors' marks. Even they found light and darkness through hope." Sophie's heart glowed warmly. Outside the cave, a roaring river blocked their way. The water rushed violently. Pico cried, "I cannot swim." Sophie spotted a fallen tree. With teamwork, the three of them pushed it across the river to make a temporary bridge. Carefully, they crossed to the other side. Relieved, Pico exclaimed, "Without cooperation, we could never have done it." Tima nodded, "That is the power of friendship." They soon reached a meadow full of colorful flowers. But these flowers were unusual, they spoke. One flower said, "To find the magical lantern, you must prove your hearts are pure." Sophie asked, "How can we prove it?" The flowers replied, "Sing us a song, and we will know your sincerity." Sophie began to sing a simple tune about hope and friendship. The flowers smiled, and a path opened among them. Tima whispered, "Sometimes the simplest things, like the true voice of your heart, open the greatest doors." Along the path, a golden tree appeared. Its branches were heavy with glowing fruits. The sweet aroma filled the air. Pico said excitedly, "What beautiful fruit. Let's take some." But Tima warned, "This tree is magical. Its fruits may distract us from our goal." Sophie felt tempted but remembered the owl's advice, "The right path is not the easiest." With determination she said, "No, we came for the lantern, not the fruit." Instantly, the tree vanished, and a voice echoed in the wind, "You have passed the test." The deeper they went, the thicker the fog became. Suddenly, a huge monster appeared from the mist, with red eyes and a terrifying voice. Sophie was frightened, but Tima calmly explained, "This monster is your inner fear. The more you fear it, the stronger it becomes." Sophie took a deep breath and shouted, "I am not afraid. Together, we are strong." The monster shrank smaller and smaller until it disappeared. Pico cheered, "You are the bravest squirrel I've ever seen." Sophie smiled, realizing that true courage means facing your fears. At last, after many days of travel, a golden glow appeared in the distance. Sophie's heart raced. They came to an ancient tree, inside which shone the magical lantern. Its gentle light brightened the entire dark forest. Animals from every corner came out joyfully. But the lantern spoke, "The real light is always within you. I only remind you of it." Sophie placed her hand on her heart and felt a warm glow. The three friends happily returned to the brighter part of the forest. All the animals gathered to hear their story. Sophie proudly said, "We learned that with hope, friendship, and courage, we can overcome any darkness." Tima added, "Sometimes a lantern outside us exists, but truly, it is our hearts that must shine." Pico laughed, "I learned that even the smallest help can make the biggest difference." From that day on, the forest was no longer just a place, it became a home full of hope and light. Sophie, Tima, and Pico were seen as heroes, not because of the magical lantern, but because of the light they found within their hearts. All the animals understood that if they stood together and helped one another, no darkness could ever defeat their brightness. Every time Sophie thought of their journey, she smiled and whispered, "The secret of the shining forest was friendship and hope."
Alright, little friends, our story is over. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Until the next story, take care and keep smiling. Goodbye.